When I say the name Isaiah Stewart, what's the very first image that pops into your head? Be real with me. It's that clip, right? You've seen it everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, even people who couldn't name 5 NBA teams have probably watched that moment. And now there's another clip ready to be added to the Isaiah Stewart compilation.
Oh my goodness, now Miles and Duran and Beef Stew! This is out of control.
Because in one of the wildest on-court brawls we've seen in years, Isaiah Stewart was right in the middle of it. And this time, you could argue he was doing everyone a service. Miles Bridges didn't look nearly as fearless when he saw Isaiah Stewart charging at him as he did in other situations. Yeah, I said it. Because anyone who puts their hands on women is a loser. And that label fits Miles Bridges. But this moment also tells you exactly who Isaiah Stewart is. While people will replay the clip of Stewart sprinting off the bench toward Bridges, what they won't always focus on is the build-up. How it started. Why it escalated. When Miles Bridges threw a punch at Jalen Duran, can you really blame Stewart for reacting? Maybe flying in with a running hook wasn't the smartest decision. But this edge, this loyalty, is part of what makes this Pistons group different. In his own words, it's why he was drafted. Not to fight the league, but to stand up for his teammates no matter what. And that's something JB Bickerstaff fully understands. Unfortunately, moments like that only strengthen the narrative around Isaiah Stewart. The idea that he's just an angry player. A guy more focused on confrontation than competition. An average role player on a strong roster. Someone whose main job is to disrupt. Now let's be clear. I'm not going to pretend Stewart doesn't enjoy a scrap. That would be dishonest. He grew up boxing. You can see the intensity in his eyes when things get heated. But if you think the only reason he's in the NBA is to be an enforcer, then you haven't been paying attention. And you definitely don't understand why his name deserves mention in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. How can someone averaging just 24 minutes per game off the bench even enter that discussion? Because in those 24 minutes, he changes everything. He ranks near the top of the league in blocks per game. He anchors one of the best defenses in basketball. And he leads the entire NBA in rim defensive field goal percentage. In simple terms, opponents struggle to score at the rim when he's there. Look at the company on that list and it makes sense. What doesn't make sense is how far ahead Stewart has separated himself. And if numbers don't convince you, turn on the tape. Watch a possession like this one where Sissoko uses a Grant screen and thinks he's got a clear runway. He doesn't see Stewart rotating. Look at the timing. The explosion. Meeting him at the very peak of the dunk. Or watch when Lowry catches the pocket pass and rises. You don't see Lauri Markkanen get erased like that often. But you also don't see defenders like Isaiah Stewart often. That's what makes him unique. At 6'8", he's undersized for a traditional center. That's why he's logged minutes at power forward. Yet despite lacking ideal height and not being the most explosive athlete in the league, he possesses 2 elite traits. Length and timing.
You run 2 guys at 1 guy and, you've already crossed the line. Human instinct tells him to protect his little brother.
Even at 6'8", he compensates with a near 7'5" wingspan. And while he may not wow you with vertical leap, his defensive timing might be the best in basketball. Today's NBA demands more than shot blocking. Though he excels at that. It requires switching onto guards. Staying in front of quicker, craftier scorers. Handling perimeter mismatches. Can Stewart survive those situations? Absolutely. Watch him against one of the league's elite isolation scorers, Norman Powell. Powell thinks he's found a mismatch. He sizes him up, sets up the step-back 3. As he leans right, Stewart extends and blocks the shot clean. But versatility isn't just about winning one-on-one. Highlights are nice. What matters more is wrecking multiple actions in a single possession. Watch this sequence. He helps on a McConnell drive. Slides over to contest Bradley. Walker pump fakes, so Stewart rotates again. It looks like he's beaten. Then he recovers and blocks Bradley. The ball pops loose. Bradley grabs it again. Stewart blocks him again. That's Defensive Player of the Year level impact. Not just highlight swats, but guarding 3 players in one trip and refusing to let anyone finish. By now you're probably thinking, okay, this guy can really hoop. At least I hope so. Otherwise I'm failing here. What makes this leap even more impressive is that it wasn't always this way. 2 seasons ago, when the Pistons were struggling badly, parts of the fanbase were questioning him. People said he wasn't a true big. That playing him at the 5 was costing games. That his motor couldn't overcome his lack of size and limited vertical pop. That teams were running layup lines against Detroit. To be fair, that entire season was chaotic. Outside of Cade Cunningham, few players looked comfortable. Even Cade caught unfair criticism. So you can't fault fans entirely. But the growth from being labeled a defensive liability to becoming statistically one of the most impactful rim protectors in the league is massive. Most improved player conversations focus on scoring jumps. But over the past 2 seasons, Stewart's defensive transformation rivals anyone's improvement in terms of impact. How often do you see someone go from average at best defensively to top tier in such a short span? Beyond the literal fighting, what defines him is that he competes every possession. Take this play. Robinson misses a 3. Stewart can't secure the loose ball. KPJ leaks out. Stewart turns, sprints, and pins it off the glass. Switchability. Rim protection. Relentless effort. He's a monster defensively. And while defense is his calling card, his offense is more polished than people admit. I'm not claiming he's flashy, but he can space the floor, knock down threes, post up, 2 hard dribbles into your chest, and that soft baby hook he loves. Like many players, production ties to role and opportunity. Something he acknowledged post-game. What stands out in his comments is awareness. Instead of chasing extra bench points to boost his averages, he prioritizes what helps the team most. Defense every night. When injuries hit and they need offense, he'll scale up. But the defensive standard never drops. That consistency is why he's become one of the most valuable contributors on one of the NBA's best teams. If you're rocking with that take, hit subscribe. It's free. Drop a like if you enjoyed this. Have a great day. See you next time.